Yay! Alright. Sorry about that. It's always a thing. So, any case, so past couple streams I've been going after like Diablo and sort of looking at Diablo, but we're gonna change that up. We're gonna start looking at some Deus Ex. I got to the third stream of Diablo. I feel like I've exhausted the core of that game at least, and all the major gameplay elements. And this, I am so excited to play. Like I started playing this, and I haven't got very far. So I'm gonna start right at the beginning. I'm like barely into it. I've just been very busy lately. But this is one of my favorite like game series ever. I am so excited to play this game. Like every time one of these comes out, I get like so excited. So we're gonna go new game. And we're gonna see. So I'm gonna go because I'm gonna be streaming. I'm gonna be a real wuss. Normally I'd play this on like give me a challenge or maybe even give me Deus Ex if I was feeling masochistic. But I'm gonna go with give me a story because I just want to get through and examine the game. And recap video. No, we're not gonna watch that. If anyone hasn't seen the recap video, you could go on YouTube or whatever. And okay, thank you. So, super excited. I love this game. The thing about this game that it's got this amazing open world design, and it's different than I'd almost call it open level design.
I once thought I could save the world.
We'll talk about that a lot. It's one of my favorite things about the game. The level design is incredible.
In yet another augmented terror attack, 251 passengers aboard Sister Airlines Flight 451 were killed. When an
sort of setting the world here.
Cockpit and ruthlessly butchered
Give me an idea of what's been happening in the world. Seems to be a very dark place. Oh, it's a little overkill. Shoot a cat back head with a machine gun.
Details recovered from the black box recorder suggest that the man may have been suffering flashbacks to the AUG incident. That horrible day 2 years ago when augmented people all over the world flew into a psychotic killing spree,
yes.
causing the greatest loss of
The
life
last
in
game.
history.
I think that was basically what the last game was about, if I remember.
Sometimes you just have to let go.
So this is, something that is interesting already.
You're not gonna go all wonky on us now, Hansa, are you?
So,
What if I do, McCready?
I'm seeing, I'm this guy. I'm Jensen, right?
Agent Jensen,
But,
am I gonna have a problem with you?
No, sir.
I
assume you would.
they're
Good.
making the
Because
choice
you are the only
to
augmented
show me
operative
him
on
from a
this team,
third-person
and I intend to make good
perspective,
use of
right?
you.
Think about that compared
Listen up, all of
to
you. We got a sandstorm barreling
like
down our ass, and we can't afford to make
Gordon
mistakes.
Freeman in Half-Life.
We're going after this
Right?
man, an arms
Where,
dealer
like,
named Shepard. He's
Gordon
ex-Delta,
Freeman in
one of
Half-Life,
the
I'm
special
seeing
forces
everything
commanders who disappeared during the
from
incident.
his
And he's come
perspective,
out
or
of
I'm
hiding.
my own perspective, first-person perspective.
It's
Even
not.
though I'm not
He's
myself
selling weapons
in that
and
game, I'm
military-grade
supposed to be
ordnance
Gordon
to
Freeman.
terrorists.
I'm the silent protagonist. He doesn't really
This
say anything.
is Iran Singh.
I still
The
get to
undercover agent who lured Shepard out of his
experience
hole.
everything that
Best
happens
you see in the
as
Polish
if I
For 3
was
years
that
he's worked
character,
hard to get
right?
in tight with
And that's
the
one way to go
an
with it.
Iraqi smuggling cartel
This game
that's
went
infected
very much
the
the
Eastern
opposite.
Hemisphere like a plague.
They're
Last
pulling
week,
out.
our arms dealer
I'm
sent a message to the
watching
team,
Jensen
offering to
experience
sell
this,
them
just like I'd watch a
shitload of
movie.
black market
It's almost
merchandise dirt cheap.
antithetical to
They
games,
told
right?
Singh
Like it's
that
a choice. It's not necessarily the wrong choice or a bad choice.
Things cover really
It's,
that good?
it's
It
just
is right
separating
now.
the game
We need to keep it that way.
from this part
This
of the
is where
story
the
at
deal's
least. This is
going
very
down.
much like I'm
A
watching a movie,
half-finished
right?
high-rise
So it's
hotel
something to
that's been
notice
abandoned
and
ever
think
since
about
the
how the
incident.
player's going to feel about
It's not
that.
a pretty picture
You're
inside.
very much
Let me
separating me from
guess.
Jensen right now.
Most of the
I am not
laborers were
Jensen.
augmented with heavy-duty industrial rigs. So when the incident hit and they all went schizo,
Things got gruesome real fast, and no one, except for some
There is a good part of that in that, like, if Jensen starts acting
What's the plan, Director?
like you're doing something that in this moment that I would never do, it separates me from that. I don't, there's always that problem in games where, like, you give the player, like, 2-3 choices and the player has to pick one. Like, and maybe the character overreacts or doesn't do what there's none of those choices match what I would do, and then I feel even if I'm not necessarily supposed to be that character, anytime you put me in first person and sort of give me that choice, you know, it's just a cognitive dissonance, right? Where I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, but I have to because I'm being forced to. But this is very much watching a movie, so you don't get that. If you think about like Mass Effect, right? There's this one scene I remember, like there's this reporter that came up to me, and I had a couple options. So we'll talk about this too, but I'll come back to the Mass Effect thing. So lethal and non-lethal. So the funny thing about this, at least in previous Deus Exes, it's like it's one of those weird choices where it's like, yeah, I can emotionally choose to be non-lethal, you know, and there might be some advantages, like maybe some of the non-lethal weapons are more silent or stealthy, but you know, it's the gameplay tends to be pretty the same. Like you shoot them with the thing, they fall down and they're sleeping instead of dead. So yeah, it might be easier to maintain cover. I bet you that is like a little thing where like non-lethal weapons are stealthy. Let's go crazy and be non-lethal.
We've got a UC in there.
Sure.
Might be
We'll
easier
have
to
fun
maintain
with
his
that.
cover if he's not the only one still breathing when this is done.
So,
Smart thinking.
any case, getting back to the Mass Effect, there's a scene with a reporter where like they give you an option. They're like, and one of them, you know, read like, get away from me, I don't want to talk to you. And I chose it, and the character punched the girl in the face, right? And I was like, oh my god! Like, no! I meant, like, leave me alone, like, verbally say, get away from me, not punch her in the face. And that was, like, a huge cognitive disconnect. And that's what I'm talking about when, like, even though I was watching, you know, third person like this, the second you give me a choice like this, man, let's go long range, because I don't want to, I hate stealth. I love this game. That's one of my favorite series ever, and I hate stealth. So it's because how they do stealth, which we'll talk about. But you know, anytime you give a player a choice like this, you have to be careful that the character doesn't, that they understand the choice, that they are like, oh, when I pick this choice, this will happen. You know, if you start having the character react in extreme ways, or go like, you know, then I'm going to start going, well, this choice I just made, that's not, you know, really what I wanted. And it's just something to think about. The third person, like, watching the character from the outside in helps a little bit with that, but it like lessens my connection to the action. You know, I'm not experiencing it, I'm watching it. It's almost like a choose your own adventure book, but still something to keep in mind.
Your happy thoughts, gentlemen. We're approaching the target building.
You're up first, Jensen. Let's do this.
Jensen has become a, you know, a military guy apparently. He's taking orders from some dude. Somehow I feel like Jensen should just not take orders from that dude. Seems like whenever Jensen takes orders from someone, they end up being, you know, some kind of, I don't know, ulterior motive they had, or you find out, you know, that they're probably not a good dude. You think he would have learned by now, like, you know, everyone I work with, there's something like shady about that person that I'm gonna find out eventually. Maybe I should just be a loner. Poor Jensen. I want to do this. I can't wait. You know, I don't necessarily want to cut off my arm and replace it with a robotic one, because that's extreme, but I definitely want to be able to, you know, fall out of the sky and land on the ground like Superman, because that looks really fun. I would enjoy that. Alright. Oh my. Tranquilizer darts. What have I done?
Jensen, I'm on the move.
Solid copy. Move into the building.
Alright.
The access route you need to block
So,
at the far end of the penthouses. And keep in mind, the direct route might not be the easiest one.
interesting. So,
Treaty will advise
we have this like
teams
UI
on
in the
ground.
corner that like tells me who's talking with a portrait. You know, that's super affordable, like in terms of production costs. You know, way to do things. They didn't have an animated head that they had to like, you know, put all that animation into and things. And if you think about like, whenever you think about saving production costs, it's not like the devs are lazy. No, it's like, you know, you only have so much time and money, and the more time you spend on one thing, the less time you're going to spend on something else. So like for them making that choice, if you think about why would they not have an animated character in the corner, Well, you know, they don't need one. That's not where I'm really not gonna like be spending a lot of time looking at that character, right? I'm not gonna spend a lot of time looking up in the corner. I'm just gonna glance, say, oh, that's who's talking, and then I'm gonna move on. So, you know, all that effort, if they put an animated character in that corner, would have been sort of wasted, right? I don't know that it would have really improved my gameplay experience very much. So this is fun. So, interesting. I want to look at I have some skills in the corner here. I don't know what they do. I'm gonna find out somehow. I'm sure there's a button to do that. Maybe I'll find out later. Ah. All sorts of stuff. I have control schemes. Could swore. What if I... Let's see, F1. Oh, that turned that on. I know how to turn that on. Ooh. So F1. Oh, that's F2. Cool. I just murdered everyone in the room, I bet. That's a really hard thing to remember. I'm going to talk about F4 is my stuff. Okay, so you can tell that was designed. This UI in the corner there was designed for consoles.
Fuck!
What's wrong?
The Gen have got a few Jennies up and running. We're gonna have to hack keypads.
You should enjoy it, McCarthy.
And what I mean by that
Colors and
is the
shapes.
layout
Just
there,
remember, that
right,
means bad.
is
Fuck
like a
you.
radial menu. So if you think about, like, if I bet you on a console you hold down a button and then like move the stick, you know, in a direction or whatever, or maybe it's like X, you know, the face buttons, because those are sort of like, you know, like that, you know, whether it be triangle or A or whatever, depends on the console you're using. But they tend to be in that, like, you know, the cross pattern. So those map really well to that kind of thing. They don't map well to F1, F2, F3, F4. And I am never going to remember that F2 is kill move and F4 is my cloak. And then F1 is my I don't make sound when I move. Now, so when we get into stealth, like the difference between cloak and I don't make sound when we move. That's an interesting one. I wonder we're gonna look into that and want to see like how deep into the game design did they go? Was that really necessary? Like, was it really necessary to separate I don't make sound when I move to I am invisible? I don't know. It might have been too far. I know they did it in the last game. It's just sort of like, as a player, I'm just gonna turn right now. You know, and I could do some experimentation and figure out, like, you know, how far away from an enemy do I have to be before they see me? Maybe sound when I move, not making sound when I move means I can run, right, without alerting them. You know, where if I run when I'm just cloaked, they might still know where I am or whatever. But, oh, B! Yay, yeah, so totally designed, not, you know, this for a console, that's fine. You know, you can't like hate on devs for designing things for consoles. It's you know, if that's where most of the players are gonna play their game. I know as a PC guy, or like if you're playing on PC, you know, that can make you sad. Sorry. But, you know, it's really expensive to design these UIs. It's like super expensive. You gotta have a person do all the art, and you gotta do the layout. And you can imagine if I wanted to relay this out for PC, that's like making 2 games, right? And you're not gonna spend the time doing that. So that's why you see some games designed for console and some not. You know, the radial menu it's what's doing that. But, you know, I don't know that leg silencers and, you know, glass shield cloaking, if they really need to separate that, maybe there's a reason that's really important in the game that I will discover. But for me right now, it's just creating like, okay, I'll turn both those on when I want to be stealthy, and that's what I'm going to do. Because, why do they want me to do this? I don't know. Oh, smart vision. Middle mouse, I bet that's what they want me to do. That's not working. It's not working. Let me, oh, I see. To equip smart vision, press the middle mouse button to assign it. Alright, I did. It didn't work. Why aren't you working? Ugh. Middle mouse button. Maybe my middle mouse button broke. I'm just gonna put it on F3. There we go. Fair enough. Alright, cool. Ah, I can... Structural weakness. See, I missed that tutorial. I didn't get to that tutorial. Boom. Yay. So that was an interesting choice too. Like, I'm not sure why they decided to cut to a third-person camera there. Yeah, it's a difference in energy cost. I'm sure the sound is cheaper than invisible, and that is a good reason, right? When I think about that, though, like I wonder, like it gets very grognardy, and what I mean by that is like disabled keypad. All right, like what I mean by grognardy, right, is it's like, oh well, if I gotta go farther, I'm gonna save some energy cost and sort of sneak through the level, and that's okay. Like that's a choice, right? There's nothing wrong with it, with that design. It's just it's making me focus on the energy bar a little more, rather than just like and it adds. Oh my God, I'm sucking. Rather than just on being invisible and sort of sneaking past enemies. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a choice. It just takes away a little bit of accessibility too. Like I'm not really clear yet what the difference is there or when I need to use what. So again, totally fine. Just a little less accessible, a little more for me to learn as a player. And when there's more for you to learn as a player, that's good and bad. But sort of advantages and disadvantages, like everything in design. All right. Cool. So there's a cool little level choice there. So right now, this is not my favorite thing that they do in Deus Ex. What I mean by that is like, I love the level design in Deus Ex. It is some of my favorite level design ever. But it's usually because there's so many ways to get around a problem. Right now they're very much in tutorial mode, and they're giving me one way. There's only one way to get by the problem. Well, at least that I know of, and that's fine. Tutorials. But yeah. So use mouse wheel to navigate between the nodes. Use mouse to navigate between the nodes. Oh, cool. C to capture nodes. I think I'm trying to get here. So let's do that. C.
Anomaly detected.
Oh my.
Trace program initiated.
Can I fortify at the same time? I cannot. Alright. I love their little hacky mini games. They're always fun. Fortify. Oh, I probably should have just kept going. It's fine. Capture. Woo!
Access granted.
That was fun. It's this like abstract, like, look, I'm gonna fortify this fight. I don't even know what that means, but it's cool that it's a cool little hacking game. Everybody has their own little hacking game. Tutorial mode. No, I'm going to not. I'm gonna pretend that I know what I'm doing. Cool. So, you can go into cover. It's sort of a cool little thing. Lots of I'm curious, like these little dynamic tutorials, right? Dynamic tutorialization's great because if you try to give everybody tutorials right up front, they're gonna get overwhelmed a lot of the time. Oops, that's what I wanted. F3 is my vision. I don't know why it only makes sound at the mouse, but that's fine. Anytime you give people too many tutorials right up front, they're just gonna get overwhelmed with information, right? And you don't want people to get overwhelmed and just sort of forget the last thing you told them because you're telling them you just tell them too much at once. So it's just a good thing to do is only give people tutorials when they need them. I love that they have like the silent the silent kill versus the not so silent kill. I believe the silent kill is a little slower or something. There is a difference between them. Sort of fun. So I hate stealth games, but I love this game. And the reason I love this game is because a lot of stealth games, just like if you're seen, you're screwed. And that's true sometimes here. But in general, they have this great thing where they mix. They have a good mix between like, I kill a couple guys, and then once I've killed a couple guys, I'm free to run into the room and just murder face everyone. And that's great, right? Like, I really enjoy that, I don't have to be stealthy. They're not like, you were seen, restart the level, which is, so horrible. And it gets into like the overall philosophy they have with their level design that I love. This is the reason I love this game. there is a difference between, like, let's talk about GTA open world design as an example, right? Grand Theft Auto is an open world hub. Rockstar games in general tend to be open world hubs. Oh, shit. Well, he's just gonna get murdered. Rockstar games in general tend to be an open world hub with very linear missions. Do you know what I mean? Like super, super linear missions. Like if you get onto a mission in a Rockstar game, what tends to happen, right, is that you have exactly one way to do the mission. It's like, hey, knock the guy off the motorcycle. But in this particular mission, you know, maybe they don't want you to be able to knock, you know, or get the guy on the motorcycle, and you gotta like chase him with a car and get to the end of the mission, and you know, keep up with him the whole time. And that's their mission. And it's very much like almost like challenges. But the world is, the hub is open world. I can go wherever I want. So it's like linear game, right? Or linear levels with an open world hub. It's like pick whatever level you want to go to. And you know, that was their choice, and that's how they decided to do it. We'll fortify because why not? That was their like their design. Now, on the other side of it, right? This game does the opposite, right? They have very their hub, is very it's very linear, right? It's like I am in, and there's some, you know, there's some choice there. You can go between levels, but in the previous games, at least, it tended to be a very linear hub where, like, I'm in this hub of the, you know, Prague, and then I'll move on to the next hub, you know,
Mac, listen up.
after
Doppler shows that
I've
sandstorm's
completed
moving in
Prague,
fast. It's big and it's gonna hit us hard.
which
God, I
is
hate the fucking desert.
which is
Confirm visual.
a really different
Time
way to
is
do
not on our
things.
side.
But their levels
Solid copy.
are so open. Like, I can go into this level and, like, I'm sure, like, once I get past the tutorial, if they stay true to their previous game, there'll be like 7 ways to get through the level. I'll be like, oh, I feel like murder facing everyone in the level, or I'm gonna like bribe the guard, right? There's so many ways. Hitman does a really good job of that too, and like I love that, right? That for what I like in games, it's just I want that autonomy in how I, you know, in how I choose to solve the goal that the game places in front of me. So for me, you know, that's just great. So I'm fine with their world not being as you know, their hub not being as open. Their world is much more linear. That's fine to me because their levels, you know, give me so much choice. So tutorial mode, no. Oh, that's it. Oh, that was fun. They're like, we're gonna give you like 3 seconds to get behind something. It's a cool little scripted moment, right? Like a designer, I'm sure set that up. He's like, you know what would be awesome if the elevator door opened and the player had like this little mini heart attack. Like, oh my god, like, right? I have to be stealthy, and I bet I don't know what would have happened if I went into tutorial mode. Maybe they would have like been like, to stealth, do this now, you know, which is fine. But interesting though, right? Like they set that little moment up for me, and I got to come out of an elevator and have a really scary dude stand right across from me, and I had a little heart attack. So they did their job well. Good job, level designer. Then they give you like X seconds and he turns around. Like that had all to be scripted, right? That's great work. I can go up there, I bet. Maybe. I bet I can't jump that high. Oh, I can. I'm gonna go this way.
Good. There is too much riding. Last thing we need is the gums breaking down.
Alright, I'm gonna go back through that. I wonder if I can open it. Can I open it? No.
McCready, how you making out?
I can open
Slower
it,
than
but-
expected.
Alright,
It's
fine.
like someone
Let's
stole
keep
the
going.
fucking cemetery down here.
Say again?
When the shit hit the fan in 27, the rush must have been.
I
from
love-
There's corpses everywhere.
It's sort of ridiculous, but I love
Well, your
that I'm
cousins
crawling
are here
through
too, Jess.
vents in a building. I hear a rumor that's not possible, you know, because I'd
Want me
make
to
a lot
grab
of
you any
noise
spare
and
parts?
stuff, but
No
I don't
parts,
care. It's
but
fun.
I take mine with cream and 2
I don't know for you know, for fact, I've never tried to crawl through a vent you know, to sneak up on someone, but I think it'd be really fun to try. Oh, more guys. I'm so excited to murder face him. I haven't even used my augments yet. I feel like I'm just like failing at life. Look at all this magical power I have. So I love the design here. Again, like, just the design of this augment is really interesting, right? Like, ooh, I ran out of energy. No, see, man, maybe energy matters a lot. As Gotcha had mentioned about the difference between stealth, like cloaking. Oh my God, there's guys everywhere. Stealth cloaking versus being silent. Because energy I sure ran out. Ooh, and it's not coming back up all the way. I wonder if it just stays down. Interesting. So I'm gonna save real quick because I just realized I haven't saved it all, and that would be sad. If like I had to restart the whole stream from the beginning. I don't know where their checkpoints are, so we're just gonna be safe. You know, this is a little old school PC in that way. I feel like.
Watch your 20.
Working my way through the
really
remember to keep an eye out for the
penalizing if you do a critical error. I might have to murder him with my tranquilizer gun. Let's see. What's over this way? Ooh, I bet you can get around him though. Oh my God. Guys are everywhere. So I love when you go into your this is something to notice. When I go into my against the wall thing, like they switch to the third person, and it really is great because it gives me this perspective, right? Like, without this perspective, I would never ever be able to see what's going on, right? So that's fun. Really good camera design. Like when I get to the end there, notice how it pops out like that. The camera keeps moving ahead. Because obviously I don't need to, I'm trying to see around the thing, right? I also love, like, wow, that's another little great design touch. It's like, I'm going to see exactly where I'm going to go. There's no confusion. There's no like, oh, I thought I was going to go to that crate and I ended up going to that one. It's like, no, wherever I need to go, that's what's going to happen. Oh my God, so this guy might need to be murder-faced. We'll see. See if we can sneak up. We're gonna risk it. I don't want to murder face him because I'm sure I have limited darts and stuff. Oh my God. Alright, cool. Going into vents because vents means stealth. Cool, I could go that way. I wonder what's this way though. Oh my. So that's about where I want to get.
Listen up, everyone. Chang's hacked into the Jin's radio signal. Checking the patch now. We should be hearing Sing any second.
So again, like, it's funny. Like, when I talked about dynamic tutorialization, right, this is something that a lot of games have done
Solid copy.
lately that, you know, it's an accessibility thing. I was getting back to, like, you know, what the player has to learn between what they know. And, like, every time I walk up to a door, it's like, E opens door. You know, maybe that'll go away eventually in the game, but a lot of games they never do. And, you know, it's choice. It definitely makes it more accessible, right? It makes it so if I forgot that E opens the door, you know, now I'll remember. It also helps, like, imagine if you have some doors in the game that can be opened and some that can't. Now, I could get into, like, there's so many ways to solve that problem. Like, for example, I probably should make the doors look very obviously different, right? Like, it's really bad if, like, I'm running up to doors and just randomly clicking on them and hoping they open. But that kind of little prompt also is a way to help in that when I run up to the door, if I don't see that prompt, you know, I know it probably can't be open. So that's cool, right? That's a cool reason to have them. They are a little bit like, really, dude? You need to tell me to hit E again? But, you know, it's fine. It is what it is. Alright, this is going to be interesting. This is my first I'm gonna have to murder face all these dudes moments. I'm just gonna go and murder face them. We're gonna give this a go. Let's use my augment. Boom! Do they all die? Yeah. Hopefully that was not a horrible idea. Oh my god, I have a tranquilizer gun.
Taking up positions on the terraces.
I'm also crouching.
Still moving.
Well, hurry the fuck up. Enemy helos inbound, and this sandstorm's getting
Yeah!
close. You get that comms booster disabled?
Negative. Didn't.
And that's what I love. Oh my god, I love that about this game. The mix between stealth and murder face. You can imagine how many stealth games they would have just been like, no, you just lost because you decided to, you know, they set off the alarm.
Anomaly detected.
And that would make me sad. Oh god, I'm gonna go this way. Oop, I keep hitting the wrong button. Oh god, trace program initiated. Oh, I think I got it beat. Oh, that's going really fast. Oh no!
Access granted.
Cool. Fun. I love that little minigame. It's a unique minigame. Like, there's so many people that have tried different ways to do that hacking minigame, and that one's really fun. I also like. Oh, there was a game that like had just lines of text. You had it was basically like a pattern matching, matched text hacking game. I think it might have been Mass Effect. One of the Mass Effects. I don't know, but that was really good too. 2 hacking mini games that I love. Most of them are garbage.
Alright, strike force. Position.
We can get into the design of that hacking game next time. I'm not panicking and still learning it a little bit.
Strike 3. Yeah.
Strike 4 in position and
Alright.
Eyes up, safety's off, guys.
Yeah, no
So,
shit, bro.
terrorists have helicopters. I feel like that's a general rule. And they always have helicopters with 2 blades. So, that's an important thing to remember if you're making your own games, is to make sure the helicopters have 2 blades when they're terrorists. Because, I don't know, it's just something that terrorists do. Never have the single blade helicopters.
Sing's down there, so watch your
Never
fire.
do.
You got balls, Sing? Executing a buy with a sandstorm on our ass.
There's an interesting delivery of that line. You have balls, Sing. He said it so matter-of-factly. He's like, just so you know.
The Orcs. They're getting harder to come by. Guns are still on the chopper. Show me the cash, quick, and we'll... What the?
This is like Anonymous. Anonymous just showed up. Apparently these are the real bad guys. Not Anonymous, but the guys that look like Anonymous.
Miller, this isn't the Jinn. Repeat, it's not the Jinn.
Alright, so that's like, you know, cool little story moment. I'm like, I think these are the bad guys, but no, the real bad guys are being introduced. Also, something that tends to happen, or, you know, a lot of stories will do is like, they're first, it's interesting, they're probably going to let me fight these guys right now, but it's actually surprising, in a way it's almost surprising they do. Like a lot of times when you see the big bad guy the first time, maybe this isn't a big bad guy, maybe there's a bigger big bad guy, I don't know yet. But, you know, it'll almost be like in passing, right? It sort of like introduces it to you in passing, and then the next time you have a bigger confrontation with a big bad guy. It's at least, you know, if you're going with like typical story structures. They chose to have me fight them right away, which is cool. You know, I get to fight guys. I think that this whole, like, it's time. It's time to just murder guys, right? Because I don't know about this whole silencer thing when I'm fighting augmented dudes. That seems scary to me. I don't know. Call me a wuss. Alright, let's see. Oh. So, interesting. I cannot get over this wall very easily. Alright, let me go over. Okay, I'm just not going to use cover. Yeah, dead. Alrighty. So fun. I'm not even going to worry about this whole stuff. I feel like this sandstorm is pretty good cover. Oh. It's interesting. I would love to talk to them and ask why they chose to cut on the melee attack. You know, I get it. This seems like a good thing to do.
No, Chopper's been grounded.
You know, anytime you do a camera cut, it makes the action feel more
You're welcome.
dramatic. Unexpected ally, huh?
Shit.
You know, it makes the action feel more dramatic. It makes it feel a bit more impactful, you know, to do that camera cut. In a first-person game, it's just not typically done. You know, it does, like, stop the moment. I have a feeling it's something, you know, there could be a technical reason there. There could be, like, for example, they want to put you back. I have to next time I do that action, I want to look at how it happens. Cool, that was like the intro, that was the tutorial. Now it's like James Bond. There's James Bond. When you enter James Bond, there's always like the action scene at the beginning, then you get the cool, like, crazy, you know, second movie start. 2 starts to every James Bond movie. So anyways, I want to see how you go, if you go back to where you left off. I bet you do, and I want to look at that. Like, if I'm hiding behind cover and I hit the Q button, I bet you after I kill the guy, I end up back behind cover. And the reason they might cut to a third camera in that case, right, is because imagine, like, as an animator and, like, as a designer who has to hook up those animations, all the transitions back to, you know, I gotta transition back to where I was in like 1,000 different ways, if that is the goal. I'm gonna look to see if that actually does happen the way I remember it. Because if it does, that's why they do a camera cut. They want to hide that transition. They're gonna cut, pop, pop, snap neck, cut back to first person. I'm back where I was. And then they just save like thousands of hours of animation and tech design and hookup and bugs and oh my god. So I'm guessing that's why they did it, but you know, we'll find out.
Agent Jensen.
It's cool to see little things like that and go, why would they do that? And then try to figure it out. Because if you can, when you're making your own game, sometimes it's like, oh, that's a good idea. That whole feature I designed that I have like scheduled for, like, you know, I have to hire like 3 dudes to do that thing that I have designed. Maybe I don't have to hire 3 dudes to do that thing, and I can, you know, or maybe I do hire the 3 dudes, but have them do something that would actually matter to the player more, right? There's a lot of, you know, but, you know, if your game it's really important that you stay in first person, then, you know, maybe you do have to spend that time.
The mission was a success.
Clearly, your scale for success is a generous one. However,
these guys just feel like bad guys. If they end up being good guys, I'm going to be shocked.
Will be confused for weeks. And with our continued guidance, the people will come round eventually. We are all in this for the long game, after all.
That's never changed.
You think so?
Anybody that talks about the long game
to remind you all how far we
tends to be a bad guy.
The Og incident has caused a schism in society. Things are worse than we projected, and growing more unstable every day.
You know, again, going back to the movie thing, I don't even think Jensen's here, right?
The disruptive elements must be excised.
So they're very much keeping parts of the story
let me fly to New York.
Totally disconnected from the gameplay. It's almost like 2 things,
we
right?
May already have
which is fine. It's just the way they're doing it. It isn't me watching this. It isn't even Jensen watching this. It's just information they want me to have as a player.
We may need to exert financial as well as political pressure to silence anyone opposed.
So player experience versus, like, you know, the literal, like, I am in the world experience. You know.
It won't succeed, Lucius, even with Dowd's money. You know what Rand will find in New York? Weak, ineffectual men. And with Nathaniel Brown still an unknown factor.
Of course. That is why we're proceeding with our alternate strategy.
The ultimate strategy. That's always a scary thing.
You have claimed much in the
I think it's like the same when you type, like, if you ever name, you know, if you're ever working on something and you name the file final,
is in place.
I guarantee you'll have to change it again. So, you know, same thing with the ultimate strategy. If you name something, this is the ultimate strategy, I have a feeling there's going to be an alternate strategy like 2 or an alternate strategy B or whatever you call it. It's like, oh, nope, not done. That final, it's not final. No, I was wrong. I think it's just never name things that. That's my, I think that's my rule.
H. Activate the sleeper cell.
The sleeper cell. That's you know, ominous. Pretty sure they were bad guys. Could be wrong. I think they were trying to tell me these are the bad guys. That's a cool shot, pulling back through the triangle there. That was pretty wicked. I think maybe they're Illuminati. Illuminati? Triangle. Light on the top. Where's the dollar bill? Pretty sure that's the Illuminati. No? Yeah, maybe. Girl fell asleep on his shoulder. I can't tell how he felt about that.
Miller, it's Jensen.
You know,
just getting off the train now.
I really like that they didn't put this cinematic at the beginning of the game.
Coming straight to the office.
Like, can you imagine? Like, the cinematic at the beginning of the game was long, but it wasn't this long. Right now, I'm okay with it. I don't actually mind watching a cinematic that's this long because I already got to experience the game. I got to play the game for a bit. You know, one thing I feel like a lot of games do that I think is a mistake is put a huge, giant, long cinematic at the beginning. And like when I get into a game, I want to experience it. You know, so I'm really glad that you know they did that. This is interesting. This is like. This is this weird. I mean, again, like it's just one of those things you don't see very often in design perspective. Is like I am in first person, like I was like Gordon Freeman or whatever.
You get my message about.
But I'm on rails.
Yeah.
Like they're moving me along.
I'm glad you're all right, Adam.
That's interesting.
That's something I was
like
expecting, that's for
you know,
sure.
in Half-Life, if they wanted to move you along, they'd put you on a train or
I'm
something.
sure your task force will come up with something, and that it won't be what the Juggernaut Collective digs up.
Interesting. Or, you know, like Call of Duty, they have you being drugged at one point, and you're like, oh, and you get shot in one of the Call of Duties. I don't remember which one. Like that, I'm used to. I've never seen Rails, you know, for something like this. I just haven't seen it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a choice. It definitely made this whole sequence a lot cheaper to do.
The Collective has been keeping tabs on all task force divisions ever since we slipped you into one of them.
I feel like a more direct connection to her now than I would if I was watching Jensen from a third-person perspective. I'm guessing they want me to connect with this character as well.
If the task force is an Illuminati front, like we all suspect, it doesn't make much sense to send it into an ambush.
Unless they wanted our team to see something. Officially.
You know, just gonna throw out there, people seem to not like augmented people very much. You wanna, like, you'd think people would put, like, I don't know, like, cover up or something to hide their little augment thing. I don't know.
Make a scene, Adam.
Wouldn't dream of it, Alex.
It's a good little, like, again, though, for things you want the player to know. What a great way to be like, hey, you are talking to an augmented
I swear
individual.
It's gotten even worse here in the past few days.
You know,
Everyone looking
they
over
don't all
their
have
shoulder.
to have like robotic arms.
Like us
They
are
can
going
just
to attack them again.
Somebody probably will. Treat people like animals long enough, they'll start acting like animals.
You say that like there's nothing we could do to stop it.
I already tried 2 years ago. Didn't work out so well.
All right, so they're setting up why I am working for
Let
the
hatred and
military.
prejudice take over?
My
To hell with
ghost,
that.
my past.
I'm saying I can only go after enemies I see, Alex. The men who caused all this, the true power brokers, they're the ones I need to stop. I thought you knew that.
I do. You, me, the Juggernaut Collective, we're all trying to stop them. It doesn't mean turning a blind eye to
Then help me find them.
That guy's. I'm gonna have to fight one of them, and they're gonna be hard. I can just feel it. He's big. It's interesting. Like, imagine, like, this is really interesting. Like, in Half-Life, I would have had to manually walk through this, and I could have taken it at my own pace. This are very much like, this is cinematic. Again, just different choice. You know, they have more control. They have like they're able to let me see very specific things at a very specific pace.
Come on.
You know, it's just I'm not.
You're right about Dubai.
You know, it's a little bit different of an experience.
Your team as witnesses.
It's a beautiful game though. Look at all the people in this area. I mean, imagine like all that had to be animated. This is a lot of work.
Who gave you the order to mobilize?
Miller did.
Everybody doing their own thing. It feels like, you know,
up the chain.
like it's an actual
Doesn't
real
mean
place.
He's not in on it.
Guy walking by with a
Ever heard of
suitcase,
the NSN?
drops it. What a great little, like great little touches,
Until
right?
29
Like,
directors use it to plan ops.
wow, they have a lot of animators.
Cyberspace. What's this?
Whisper chip, custom-made wiretap device. Janus designed it to fit inside the NSN's motherboard.
That feels bespoke, you know? Like, and what I mean by bespoke, I don't feel like they just took a.
Am I ever gonna meet this guy?
Someday.
Like
maybe.
the guy walked by
Right
a
now
little
you need to
faster than
concentrate
everybody
on
else.
work
That felt
and find a way
like
to
they
access
built
NSN's
that
motherboard.
like custom, and that's amazing. There's an amazing amount of work, amazing amount of attention to detail. But you can tell there's love put into this, right? Ah, my power will be reset. Same thing I mentioned in Diablo, but in Diablo they just did it in the character select screen. When you select your character, you see the guy like with all the equipment, and then you like you know you say, yeah, I want that guy, and then he ends up being without equipment, and you're like, oh, okay, and that's what I'm going to look like in the future. That's sort of like my aspiration.
Okay, be careful.
Jensen just, I saw his vision go, and all these air symbols pop up. All my augments will go away. I can just feel it. It's happening. All my augments will go away. And that's like typical, right? Like they gave me like, hey, here's powerful Jensen. Here's what you aspire to be. Now we're going to take that away from you. Kids.
Stand back. Let me
It's pretty sad, actually. That was a really, like, this face, the animation on his face was just, that is top notch. Like, he was upset, you know, and you could feel it. And it was not, like, they didn't overact that. You could just feel it in his eyes, right? Like, that was great animation. That's amazing animation. And then, like, the little glasses coming down, he's almost like, just like, okay, I'm going to hide my emotions. It says a lot about the character, right? They didn't tell you, I'm going to hide my emotions. They just, like, glasses come down. Really nice, subtle moment, you know? Like, those are great.
Alex, it's Adam.
Hey, you sound like shit. How you feeling?
A little sore, but I'll be alright.
Alright, so it looks...
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Still
I'm
smoking?
okay.
Oh,
Been
no,
through
out of
worse.
cigarettes.
Jesus, how fucked up is that to think, huh?
I think that's funny.
Listen,
I
it's my
think that was a
sister's
joke there.
I've got to get checked out.
I could be
If you
wrong.
want to meet or...
What? No, I'm fine, man. You just take care of you. This girl.
I could be wrong, but I think
Give me a call when
like
you're full
having
again, okay?
cigarettes in the game now raises a rating like redonkulously. So I think that this is a rating. I don't even know what the rating is in this game, but that might have been a rating choice. He's like, you can't. He's a character that smokes, but no, we'll see. Maybe you smoke later in the game, but I have a feeling that was a rating choice, or maybe they just wanted to like not, you know, make smoking cool. I don't know. Could have been like an ethical choice or something they wanted to say to the world. I'm not really
Good morning, Adam.
saying I have an
You
opinion
have
on that.
one new message.
Just saying that it might be why they did it.
David Sarif.
Play it.
Adam, it's David. I know it's been a while, but after what happened in Prague yesterday, look, son.
That's
whatever
really well.
reasons
That
you
the
had for
rendering
not
is
getting in
just
touch these
great.
last 2 years, well, life's too short.
Love the detail on the
I'm leaving
roofs.
for London soon, but give me a call.
You saved his vidcall number?
Yes, Adam. Just
Facial
activate your
animations
TV
is
system.
Dope. I'm wondering if that's like mocap or like how they did that. I'd really love to know the process in building it. Like I'm guessing they did like a facial capture, just because it's like maybe it was perf capture, which the difference between like mocap, facial cap, and perf cap. little interesting thing. Mocap is body only. Body only. Facial capture is face only. Perf cap is body and face together, and there's advantages and disadvantages to each. So if I need, for example, all right, let me pick this up. So if I need a character to, if I'm gonna be like Half-Life style, walking around the character, and I don't know where they're gonna look, I need them to make eye contact with me. Eye contact, right? I might do facial capture and motion capture separately, because I know I'm gonna need some to drive the body, and not necessarily keep it connected to the face all the time, right? So that would be a choice why I might do mocap and face cap separately. Perf cap, the advantage, you actually get the entire actor performance all at once. You get the body and the face, and they're connected. The disadvantage is that if you have to dynamically change things, then you're not going to be able to do that as easily. You're starting to mess with the animation data a lot. Ooh, I can use the toilet. Cool. So I can use dryers. Oh my god, so much. What? I love it. So in any case, there is no perfect solution, and when you're building games, you always have to think about well, for my game, for what I need to do, what tools should I be using? How should I be building this? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of each? And some games might use perf capture for certain things, and then mocap for other things. And some hand key is always an option too. There's nothing wrong with hand key and stuff. It's more expensive, takes longer. If you're going for realistic, to be honest, there's not really much reason to. Look at all the stuff I can do. These are all little details. Somebody had to do all this. Somebody had to make it so the stove could turn on. Some guy wrote a shader, so that stovetop would look that good. That's a fancy, I want to look at it. It's great. Wait, I can't really see very well, but I want to know how that's a great shader. Look at that. There's an emissive, emissive means glowy thing, under something that's not glowing. Come on. Shader guy, wherever you are. Good job. Good job. I thought I was going to have to hack my own computer. That would have been funny. I've been what? Question for you. So, quick reading. Stuff about 10 business days in Shipped Express. For this trench coat? That's too good. Smart system interface. Okay, so nothing critical, just fun little stuff. Locker, unlock doors. I'm gonna do everything.
I'll keep you safe.
Oh no.
As you wish, but remember, homeowner, this poses
Cool.
a substantial
I have an
security
AI.
risk.
I only can interact with my talking AI through my computer because we don't have voice rack in this game. And really it doesn't. Oh, look at all these cool. Is this my new coat? Is this the coat they were talking about? Oh yeah.
Miller, it's Jensen.
This a...
It's good to finally hear from you, Agent.
Wait,
You
can I
doing
put
okay?
boots on?
Sorry about the downtime. I'll get to the office as soon as I can, but my
I can't open the trash can, but I can throw it, because why not? Wow, Jensen, man. This is dumb.
Dr. Kohler, I need to pay you a visit.
Jensen!
Oh, I thought he was talking to that guy for a second. I'm oh, I could hack my neighbor.
There are some guys in my
I feel like that would be unwise.
pissed off the valley gangster-looking guys. So, unless you want bloodshed the day after a terror attack.
The front door isn't the most peaceful option. I got it.
Wait.
Now this.
Do they want me just to jump? Oh, there's down.
No.
I was I don't know if people would like that in public. I don't know. See, I'm sort of in the moment a little bit. Let me save again. I just haven't done that in a while. This seems like a bad idea. I don't know. I just don't know how their checkpoint works. So that's a little detail to notice. Do you see that little symbol, the little triangle that came up and spun? That's telling you it's saving. I bet you that happens all the time when I'm playing a level too. I just didn't notice it because I didn't. It's just it's always good to tell the player when they're saving, because maybe I have to go do something soon, and I don't, you know, don't want to shut it off and lose progress. I mean, in this, you know, it's a PC game, so you can save wherever you want, but especially if it was like a, these guys, this guy feels like a Russian mobster. Is he a Russian mobster?
You're looking for the best prices in Prague. Not talking hot dogs here.
If the hot dogs aren't your main business.
I don't know why Russian mobster, but something about
this way.
About
I get to keep my overhead down and pass on the savings to the customer.
He just fit that trope. Let's just say he fit the trope.
Better believe it.
What you got?
Well, I got info. The kind that's worth something.
Could always use reliable intel.
Who could?
I always find it funny, like, I just walked up to some random dude in the street.
I don't have any.
Sorry, it's a deal breaker. But find me again if you get any, okay?
Just walked up to some random guy in the street and started talking about, like,
so wait,
you know, espionage. We're like, hey, random dude, you want to talk espionage? He's like, yeah. I get that the cops are not the nicest guys. That's what I'm getting out of this.
Yes, I'm going to frisk you now. Don't move.
In this game, okay, maybe.
That's for me to find out.
We'll see. Maybe he's gonna be nice to the guy. I'm curious. I want to know.
Okay, hands behind your back. Oh, I know. You're innocent, just like everyone else.
Okay, so he's dead. But this is like, look at all the work that went into this. There's just these little Oh, he gave up on the guy. Does the guy have handcuffs on?
You want to be an accessory?
Nah, I get that idea. But you know, there would have been a lot of work, and it really, most people just ran by it. Like the fact that I stopped and watched it, you know? And that's the thing about this kind of content. Like, this is very much like, now I'm in control, right? You can't control the players, like, you can't control the pacing, you can control... I could go over and think that this fountain is interesting, right? And, like, that's fine. Like, maybe that's what's interesting to me. And I get stuck on it. And, you know, maybe that's okay. But I guess the point being that anytime you're building content like this, man, like, it's a lot of cost, and the player's just gonna run through it. So don't. If you're an indie studio, obviously you're not gonna try to do this. At least, just don't. It'll hurt you. You'll be sad.
Street is off limits, or your buck. Private function. All businesses are temporarily closed. Wait for this district to be turned into condos. Don't bother me.
So that's cool. So this is what I love about this game. All right, we got 1 minute left, so we're gonna save, and I'm gonna do something totally bad. So there's a really great Baldur's Gate 2. There's this really great expansion that at one point these characters come up to you during the expansion, sort of breaking the fourth wall, sort of Deadpool style, and they're like, "Hey," and they ask you to do this really mundane quest. But at that point in the game, it's really mundane. Like, go get 7 mini beholder eye stalks or something, and you're like, no, why don't you do it for me, and I'll pay you? Or it's like really weird dialogue, and they're like, okay, and then it actually cuts, and they come back, and they're like, hey, if we kill him, we could take his money and keep the eye stalks. And then they try to kill you, and you turn into this beast and murder them. Spoiler. And then it goes reloading, and then they come back and they hand you the eye stalks, and it's a really funny little joke, because that's what I'm about to do. Like, in a lot of games, right? In a lot of games, I couldn't do this. Like, I couldn't have done that. That would have been like some arbitrary crap I had to do in order for the guy to let me in the spot, right? That's what makes this game great. Like, can you, like, if, like, most, like, there's so many games that would have been like, I just killed... I'll go through a level and murder face, right? Like 7,000 dudes. And then in that same game, there'll be one thug standing in front of a door, and it'll be like, oh no, now this guy, you're scared.